Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And welcome to our today's session. Uh, Thank you for joining us from different part of the world. This is Arash Aghajani. I am a Microsoft MVP and community leader based in Vancouver, Canada. And today I'm going to kick off our session by inviting a special guest, and also we have a special actually topic for today, and it's a great session. So today we have Aryan, and he is Power Platform Solution Consultant and Developer based in Netherlands, and he will talk about Playwright. The Playwright is a tool, the Microsoft tools, and it will help us to create an automated test for the Power Platform. So I'm so excited to learn more about the Playwright and how it help us, to create an automated test for the Power Platform. And I'm I, I'm sure that you will interested actually on this topic today. So let's talk about a little bit about our community or tech community. It's a few things I need to share with you. So the Microsoft Learn, I'm going to introduce a little bit about the Microsoft Learn and Microsoft Learn community before inviting Aryan to the stage. So the Microsoft Learn community offers various ways for learners to connect with peers and experts to enhance their expertise and achieve career goals. It includes the Microsoft Learn Hub for update and discussions, and Learning Room for direct engagement on a specific topic. So you can access the community through this link, the aka.ms/Microsoft Learn community for more information. Power Platform Learner to Leader is one of the Microsoft Learning Room, which has more than 2,300 members. We are sharing the latest information about Power Platform in our learning room and through the Teams platform actually, and also conduct this series of session every Saturday, Wednesday, every week actually for Power Platform enthusiasts. If you are not member of our tech community, join us through this link, aka.ms/join PPLTL. And the code of the conduct, Microsoft aims to empower everyone globally through knowledge sharing and events, ensuring a respectful and inclusive environment for all. Harassment or degrading behavior is not tolerated, and everyone is responsible for upholding these standards. The code of conduct encourages awareness, friendliness, respect, openness, understanding, and kindness. So before we begin, a few important notes. As ever, if you have any question during the presentation, feel free to type it in the chat box. We will have a dedicated Q&A session toward at the end. This session is being recorded for those who couldn't join us live and will be available shortly in Power Platform Learner to Leader YouTube channel. So before any delay, I'm going to invite the Aryan to our stage to share the screen and also start the presentation. So 1 second. Hello, Aryan.
Hey, Arash.
Hi. How are you doing? Nice to meet you.
Hi.
It's the first time that we have you in our session and events.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, can let me share your screen here through the StreamYard platform. Okay, go ahead. Stage on your.
Okay.
Gonna start your presentation.
Thanks for the introduction, Arash. Thanks everyone who's attending this online session. Um, well, let's get started. Like Arash said, I'm going to talk a little bit about Playwright, but before we go there, let's talk about some testing in general and some options you have in the Power Platform to do some testing, monitoring, and automated testing. Um, Well, I got a nice introduction from Mirage. I'm a consultant in the Netherlands, and well, I'm a little bit of power addict. So if it comes to Power Platform, I like it very much. Um, what we're going to discuss, or what I'm going to show you today is we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of testing. I'm going to do some demoing of a live monitor in Power Apps, some Test Studio, and then we go to Playwright. So let's get started with that. Testing, importance of testing. Well, I think everybody knows testing is important, but the thing with the Power Platform is we need to develop fast, quick, and sometimes our customers think, well, is testing really necessary in the Power Platform because it's low code, right? And it's already done for you. Well, it's not. So we still need to test. And why do we need to test? We need to ensure quality. But we also want to see if we meet requirements, right? Users have requirements, business have requirements. So we need to check if we meet these requirements. And the performance should not suffer from rapid development. And like rapid development, I think you all know, like when you're building Power Apps for customers, it's going a lot faster than the Pro Code way. But let's be sure to deliver good quality and good performance, right? So we need a balance between speed and quality. There's a lot of pressure on quick delivery, like I told before. We think the quality is very important, but we need more effective testing processes, I think. So we always do some user acceptance tests. I think it's very time consuming. We need a lot of people. Those people do not always have the time to test, but we got some solutions to automate testing, and pretty cool solutions. So let's start with Live Monitor in Power Apps. I'm not sure if anybody ever used Monitor, but there are a lot of options in Monitor. A lot of people don't know about. But first, let's take a look at Live Monitor, what it does. Well, it's a live monitor for your app, so it's like some logging of actions and errors in the background. But you can see all these actions, right? So you can follow what's happening in your app during the use of the app. And if you have the live monitor in front of you, and we're going to do a demo in a minute, you can share these monitor sessions, or you can even start a session from different environments or from your app itself. Give a link to multiple users. So all these user actions and maybe errors, I don't hope so, but for debugging, it's okay. All those users are using the app, and all monitoring is done in the background with some logging. But the cool thing, you can extend your monitor by using the trace function in Power Apps. And I'm going to do a little demo about it later on. Another cool thing is the live monitor, the data you find in the live monitor, you can add it to your application insights. Just connect the app to your application insights, and the same information is available there, even the trace function. Well, how does it work? Well, you see a little bit of example on the right side. You just open up the live monitor, you start using the app, and you can see all kinds of results on clicking, on navigating, and even some errors or things like that. You can share your monitor session. So when I start a monitor session and I've got some colleagues, developers or things like that, well, we need to check it together. I can invite somebody to just see the session for itself, for him or herself. So that's very easy. And to use the live monitor, you can click, you can create a session. You can invite users to the session, or you can even copy a live monitor session link and share it on Teams or email or something like things like that. So all these users using the app at that moment in that session will be part of that monitor session. So all kinds of actions will be shown in the monitor session. But well, like I told you, you can extend the monitor session because normally it's logging all actions like button clicks, clicking an item in the gallery, adding information to a collection, things like that. But you can use a trace function to create your own traces, and you can use it to check your app's behavior in the way you want to figure it out. I've got a nice example in a minute about how you can check performance of things. So you can extend it with just a little bit of code in your Power Apps, just PowerFX. And this is a trace function. So if you take a look at it, it's really simple. It's a function in Power Apps you can use to just trace something and set a message. In that message, you can give a severity, so information, a warning, an error, or a critical severity. And you can extend the trace function by giving it some, custom information about the action you want to trace. In this example, I'm giving the operating system, the user agent, and the version, the host version. So let's take a look at how this is another example, sorry. I'm going to show you in the demo in a bit. This is an example I love to use to check performance, right? So what I do, I'm setting a start time. I'm doing all kinds of actions, and then I'm doing an end time and just counting the milliseconds the function took to complete. And you can find it back in a monitor session. So probably multiple devs are watching this this session, I hope. And we all know you can use a label to put information in it, but when you're in an acceptance environment or a production environment, you cannot add, you should not add these kinds of test labels, right? So it's a good way of putting some functionality to your Power App that's pretty cool to have when you're in production and to keep checking, how's the performance going on. So let's go to a demo. I've got my simple app here, and in this app, I've got a simple form with some functions. And to open up the live monitor, you have the advanced tools here on the left side. And I click Open Live Monitor. Well, it's empty now. I did not do anything at the moment. When I'm starting to use the app, it's going to do something. So let's put in some information, test message, and let's save the message. Well, something went wrong because I only can do one thing in this kind of collection. So let's go to the monitor. And what you see here is like all actions I did. Set a property to the text name, to the email, and click the send button. Very simple, right? So just logging all kinds of actions you did in the app. But in this app, I've got some preparation done. If it goes to trace function, let's click it away. If you take a look at the trace function, I've got 4 traces here. Let's go to the live monitor and let's clear the data. And if you take a look at the button contains the 4 ways of doing a trace. Well, let's do trace me. And what you see here is my custom traces are put in the monitor. Very simple, very easy to use, and always good to have it in your app if you need it. But there's another one I just showed you in the in my presentation to check. Oh, let's start with this one. Let's add some custom information to a trace. So trace me. I'm clicking the button. It contains this kind of formula. And this is my extended trace I just put into the app. If I click it, and I go to the trace on the right side, I open it up. I have some more information. So I have an extended trace here. So I have my Mac OS as an operating system. Things are put into my custom message for the trace. So that's a way to use it. I'm clearing the data so you can see what's happening on the next function with trace. If I take a look at the performance test I'm doing, and just to show you, it's just a button. Oh, where it is, there it is. Some simple code. I'm setting a start timer. I'm tracing the start time, and I'm doing a sequence of 30 patches in my Dataverse entity. I have an entity. I set that the end time. I'm calculating the milliseconds between the start and the end, and I put it in a trace. So if you're going to take a look at how this works, and the cool thing is, fast enough, you see it's growing. It's all patches in the for all are available in the monitor, so that's okay. It's a lot, right? And you see here, this is my start time, and it's like a date and a time without the seconds. So this says nothing. But when I take a look at the operation and I filter it by the trace, you see the start, the end, and my duration in milliseconds. So this is a way I'm using, well, a lot of the time to check performance of functions in my apps. And the cool thing is, I did not put it in my presentation yet, but I made a slight mistake because I don't know if you know it, but if you're using for all to patch data into to Dataverse, you really need to turn it around to get better performance, because you can use a patch and put the for all in the patch, and it's like 30-40% faster. So I learned it from I think it was Charles Saxon or something months ago. So I tried it before, and well, with this kind of functions, you see it like it's almost the half of milliseconds it uses to do the action. So free tip: if you're using for all and patch, don't put the patch in the for all, but put the for all in the patch. It's much faster. So that's a bit about a live monitor. Let's go back to my presentation, and let's talk about Test Studio. Because if you're talking about testing, there's something in Power Apps that's pretty cool, but not really well mature enough, I think, to use it in all kinds of ways. But I think it's important enough to show you and to make you enthusiastic about it, because it's pretty cool. What's Power Apps Test Studio? Well, it's a low-code solution for writing tests, automated tests, organizing tests. You can record your test from the app itself, but you can write or extend it from the app itself. And yeah, it's integrated in the Power Apps Test Studio, Power Apps Studio, like the live monitor we saw a couple of minutes ago. So how do you get started? Well, same as the live monitor. You go to Advanced Tools, open up Tests, and there you have some options. Good to know. There's a structure for the Test Studio, because you always need one suite, a test suite, and in the test suite you can have multiple cases, test cases, and every case can have one or more steps. To record your test is pretty simple. You just need a suite, you add a case, and then you start recording your test. And in this case, I'm showing you a demo in a minute again. You can write tests, and the cool thing of Test Studio in Power Apps is you can use PowerFX. So, well, if you're familiar with PowerFX, and I think a lot of us are, you see, you can just use almost every function there is in PowerFX to write your tests. And you can play your tests, right? Because when you write it or you record it, you want to play your tests and you want to keep playing them. So you, well, let's say you need to do a bug fix or a new feature in your app, and you have some of these tests created before. You can run them to check how it works in the new version. The important thing with Test Studio is, well, you can use PowerFX, but there's one function well, if you're not using Test Studio before, you probably not know. That's assert function. The assert function is used to check if something is true, right? So to check if the test failed or not. So you need the assertions to pinpoint out what kind of things do I need to test and what's the outcome of it. And you can give it your own message if you want. But just let's take a look at the Test Studio, because that says it all. On the left side, we have the advanced tools again, like we had before. Oh, I was already there, right? Open up tests, and I've got some tests prepared, but we can record a new one from here. So on the left side, you have your navigation, your suites, test cases, and test steps. I have a test suite here with case 1. Let's create a new case. And the case is empty, right? So no steps, but what we can do is record a new test. So what she's doing is open up the app in a player view, and I can put my name here, and I can put my email address here. It's not doesn't matter for now. Let's do some test data, and what you see on the left side, it's setting all your actions you did in the app. I click save, so I do he's telling me, well, you selected the button send, right? And I want to do a reset, and I want to fill in some other information, and it's recording all steps you did at the moment. So I'm clicking done for now. And what you see here is the case I've just created is created based on the recording I made. So all steps I did, button send. So I resetted the form here and then put in the test 2 and the test. So all steps are set here, and I can play it at the top right. This is taking a lot of time. You need to always publish before you play, and sometimes I even publish my app a second before, and then he's still asking me before I play, well, you need to publish it, so you need some time to when it's done with publishing. There it is. And what you see now, it's playing all steps that are creating in the recording, and you see all steps on the left side. And I think this one is going to be fine. So, and now the test is done. Everything works fine. Nothing went wrong. So this is recording and playing your own test from the Power Apps Test Studio. But I prepared something. So I've got some tests here, and I'm not sure if, well, okay. This is check the reset form. What I did here is, navigate to the screen form. I set a property, so I set all the form fields, and I put. I want to check in this kind of test case if the reset button is doing all its work, and then checking, well, is my name empty? Is my email empty? Is my subject empty? And is my message empty? So let's play this one. because I made a mistake in the reset button. So it's filling in all the form elements. Now clicking the reset button, checking field name. The name was empty, so that's not okay. And this is the reason why it's giving a warning like, well, the usage failed. So you know, well, there's something went wrong. Another example, and it's all about like these assertions. If it's blank, expected result text name to be empty. And the same for all other fields. Here you can write all your steps. And what the recording is doing is creating step-by-step form elements. But what you can do also is like, well, if I want to put it in one step, I want to check it, set it here. And then I set properties in one step at a time to fasten up your test scripts, right? So if you have a long form or a lot of actions, you can combine them in one of these steps. So that's a good tip, I think. Another one is the send form. Well, that's the same one. Let's check if this works. And we need to publish it again. So what I'm doing here is navigating to the form again, putting some data in it, but I only can do one email address at a time using the app. So based on a second information, well, there you see it. Something went wrong. I need to go back to my test case, sorry. I go here, you see here that the container message OK needs to be visible. And if it's not, send me this message. So this is a quick example of how you can use Test Studio to automate your testing in the Power Platform. Another cool thing to know is you have the view option here. So if you take a look at the options you've got here, you have the on test case start, on test case complete, and on test suite complete. Like if you do a whole suite, you can do an action after all steps are done. And the cool thing, you can use, you can trigger flow here. You can attach information to a Dataverse entity, or you can send an email using the V2 connector of the send email. And there are some functions to add all assertions to that message. So you can message yourself or somebody else when a test went wrong. And you have the copy link play link at the right top. And if you copy this one, and I'm starting a new tab, you see it will directly run the test from a URL. It's not showing you the steps and things like that, but it's, well, if you use the function we had here, it's sending you an email, or it's putting it in a Dataverse entity or things like that. So pretty cool to use. I like it very much, but there's a little problem. And let's go back to the presentation. Well, easy to use. I think you already saw that one. Integrated in Power Apps, that's a nice one because you are already in the studio, right? And you can use PowerFX. Well, we are building apps in PowerFX, so why not building test scripts in PowerFX, right? But there are some problems, some challenges to let you know, because not all modern controls are recognized by the recorder. So I did some tests, and well, the modern button control, you script it directly with PowerFX, and it works. But the set property to add information to a form field like a modern control, it's not working. it's not recognized. It's not recognizing the library components. So I used to build components for your reuse in my apps, but then not working in the recording modus. So that's a challenge. And well, you can use this for the model-driven apps. And well, I build a lot of model-driven apps too. So that's well. There are other options, so I come there in a couple of minutes. But good to know that if you're testing with the Test Studio directly in Power Apps, well, this is a little problem, a little challenge. Another cool thing with the Test Studio is the test engine. Test engine is a framework developed by Microsoft itself, and with test engine you can automate your testing, and in a way you like you can put it into your integrate it into your CI and CD environment. So what you can do is basically, if you're talking Test Studio, you can export the test you created and you test it and things like that. You can put it in the test engine, and in this case it uses Playwright, and I'm coming there in a minute, to well automate it. So you can do, like, when a deployment is done to a next environment, run these test scripts. And another cool thing is you can use selectors like the set property we use in the PowerFX mode is like it's a form field, but the form field is basically an HTML element when you use the app, right, in the front end. So there are selectors specific to model-driven apps in the test engine. A little bit too deep and technical to show you in this session, but good to know that it's there. So please dive into it. It's pretty cool. And you can use screenshots in it. So you can, if you have the test scripts, like the button to reset my form, like I showed you, you can create a screenshot saved on your on a location, so you can look back at what happened at that moment in that screenshot. And build a Playwright, and well, that's a cool trigger to go to another well, testing tool, and this is quite a well, a flexible and cool thing to use. Let's take a look. What's Playwright? Well, Playwright is a tool, and it enables you to automate your end-to-end tests for modern web apps. So not only Power Apps, but it's like every kind of web app published in a browser or usable in the browser can be tested automatically by Playwright. Cross-browser, cross-platform, and cross-language. Coming there in a minute. You can, just like we saw in the Test Studio a minute ago, you can use CodeGen, and CodeGen is the recorder for your app. It's an automatic page inspection, and like I told you before, in the Test Studio we use the set property or things like that, or just the select a button. Playwright is all about the web interface. So all these web interfaces have one thing in common. It's always like a HTML file where you can grab out elements, get the values of elements and things like that. So the page inspection is all done automatically by Playwright. You have a lot of ways you can get your information from your tests, and well, you can integrate it with, I think, all kinds of CI/CD environments or providers there are. I use them in DevOps and in demos and things like that. I'm probably always using GitHub Actions just to show you how easy it is to automate it. And to get started with Playwright, it's not in the Power Platform itself, so we need to do it a little bit different. And in my case, I love to use the extension there is on the Visual Studio Code. It's easy to use, and well, you're gonna see in my demo later on. Just install the extension. It's free, right? And you have a nice tool to automate your testing. Let's take a look at a basic example. What I want to do is open up a website just as at first, just to show you how easy it is. And I want to make sure the title of the website is Playwright. And in my next test, I want to open up the same website. I want to click on the Get Started button, and I want to see if heading has a name like installation and it's visible. I'm going to open up a left side here, so it's easier for me to guide you through it. If you're going to take a look how a test looks like, and we're going to see the extension in a bit. This is what a test looks like. And if you take a look at my first test, like I told you, I want to go to the playwright.dev website, and I want to check that it has the title Playwright. If we're going to take a look at the second test, well, that's the Get Started link, right? So I'm going to the same website, and I want to see that the Get Started link is clickable. And when it is, I want to see a heading with installation on it. Well, if I run the example tests, something happened on the background. Oh, wait. One little thing changed. This one. Come on. Now you should work. Yeah, there it is. So what you see here is it's going very fast because it is a very fast solution. When I click on to run the test, it's running this code. It's open up my Chromium browser, and it's running the test. So after the test, I can show a report, and it's based on my other. Well, there it is. Sorry. When it's finished, it's open up an HTML file on a local host, and he's telling me, right, this went well because I went to the website and it definitely has the title I'm looking for. So this is one of the tests. Simple, a website, and the Get Started link we have here. And just to show you how it works, there are probably 3 or 4 things you need to do a proper test. That's a go-to because I need to go to a link, right? I need to go to an app, to a website, or things like that. And I need locators. And locators are things in HTML. You can get by role or by label, like the field with passwords, or the button with sign in. Or just a link with the name Get Started. So it's getting all the HTML and searching for this kind of things to be in that HTML file. And we need actions because we need to click the started button, and well, maybe we need to check an agreement or things like that. So you have a label here, and this is the name of the label, and now we're checking the checkbox. Or you can get it by text item and click the button, and you can give it a right click. So these kinds of locators, actions are all in the Playwright environment, and well, the possibilities are almost endless in that case. And the same as we saw with the Test Studio, we also need assertions because it can run, and if something isn't loading what you're expecting, it's giving an error message. But we want to make our test cases more smart, right? So if you're going to take a look at the expect variables, like, well, I expect it to have the title playwright, and if it's not, I'm giving them an error. I'm expecting to have something with the role heading, and it has the name installation, and it needs to be visible. So this kind of to be visible, or to contain text, or to be checked, all kinds of things you can give it your expectations. It's assertions, but we call it expect in the code, right? So so that's 4 things you always need. You need to go somewhere. You need to have locators. You need to have actions like click a button or click a link. And then to do a proper test, we need the assertions, the expect function to define what we want to check. But well, let's just see how it works. Let's get it away. Oh, no. There it is. So, like I showed you before, these are my extensions in my Visual Studio Code, and just search. Oh, I need to write it. This is the extension you need. Just install it, and you get this icon here, and this is your Playwright environment. And what you see here is my tests. So I prepared some tests. I'm going to show you in a bit. Let's create a new. Oh. So at the bottom, in my case, I have the Playwright functionalities here. You have the show browser. I'm going to set it on. So it's telling me that it's open up the browser to just check the test. And what I can do is record new. So if I go do a record new, he's giving me a browser. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to learn.microsoft.com. And now I want to accept this one, and I want to go to discover. Let's see the documentation. And in the background, what you see here is already creating your test for you based on the actions you do here. Let's go to product documentation. Let's go to Power Platform. Oh, it's not putting it out. Wait a minute. Putting it back in. So you can switch between your code and your recorder. Let's do another one. Let's check platform again. And I want to learn about Power Apps. Okay. Stop recording. And what you see here is the same as the test studio we had before. It's creating your test at the moment. So you see the little green play button here. And if I click play, well, in just a second, he's just playing your test, right? So just
can we
to
control
show you
the
how
speed? Sorry. Can we control the speed of the test or not?
Sorry.
Can we control the speed of the test?
The running.
The running,
speed.
yeah.
No,
yeah,
no,
the running.
no.
No, no, it's
no. It's always going very fast.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's another way, and I'm coming back. You got a UI mode, and there, well, there's a recording of your whole test, and you can pinpoint where you went. So I'm gonna show you in a bit.
Okay.
There was just a simple way to start your extension, your Playwright extension, and to start recording your test. What could be that you say, well, yeah, I forgot something, and let's see how that works. I'm playing it again. Just keep it in my screen, and if I go back to my Playwright extension, you have the record at cursor. and I can go further on. So I go to topics, I go to AI, and what you see here in the background is adding new test steps to your script by just pinpointing the cursor at that point and clicking the recorded cursor functionality. Well, and I can click go on. Let's stop it again. I'm going to quit it, and these kinds of elements are found and added to my test. So pretty easy to use. Okay, you need some coding, right? You need some locators, and you need some to do the expectations, the assertions yourself. But I've got some cool examples for that. So let's go back to the slides. Well, just show you this, like how you to record a test and how you can modify your test or record at cursor functionality, and how to run your test, and all kind of actions you do in the bar here in the functionalities you have. You can also do in a terminal window like the MPX Playwright and things like that. But it's more like the easiness of how to get started using it. But hey, cool, a website, but we just want to use it for Power Apps, right? So we want to automate testing in Power Platform. And there are some things you need to know before we start there, because Power is a web application. So when we're building a Power App and we give it to our users, the users are in a browser window, and Power Apps is just like a lot of HTML under the hood. So it can be used within Playwright. But the same for Power Pages is a website, right? So that's clear, I think. But you can also use it for model-driven apps because it's the same as Power Apps. If you take a look at under the hood, it's HTML, so Playwright can find it all. There's one thing. It's a challenge, and that's the Power Apps HTML isn't very well coded because it's a lot of code, containers in containers in containers and things like that. So the Microsoft making it hard for Playwright to understand the whole syntax, but there are some tips and tricks for that. So and another challenge is multi-factor authentication, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time about it if I take a look at the time. So, but just want to show you. We all know, well, we have multi-factor authentication. We need a device or something to put in a number, and that's difficult to automate. So in some kind of demos, I'm using my telephone to just give in the code and the test goes on. But there's a TOTP approach. There's a different way to add an MFA type to your environment. And there's a blog about it. Elio Schuif has a solution for that. So I just wanted to let you know, if you're running against it, just search for the TOTP approach, because it helps you to log in with MFA. But in this demo, just good to know, I'm using an MFA disabled account, so just to run it some easier. So what I'm doing, and I'm not going to show you because my password and things, it's a temporary password, so it's not a big problem. But this is what I do in a test script, because the cool thing is, in every kind of test, you have the before each. So every test you write, always the before each will be run before the test is run. So what I did is like go to login Microsoft.com. I have a script like next password, fill in the password and click sign in. And then it goes to my apps, powerapps.com, my full URL. So you know, every time I'm starting a test case, it's running the before each, so logging in and redirecting me to the right environment. Let's take a look at an example. This is a big test script, but just to highlight something, and let's keep in mind that we want to check if a Power App has a title, right? And in this case, my title is the demo app. Get by text demo app. And let's run it. There's something wrong with that. Yep. And the browser is still opening. So this is before each, right? So what he did is logging in and just to run my test. Now, I've created another test. And well, I need to change something, sorry, just to be sure. So I'm going to do the same test script again, but now looking for a demo app title with a lot of P's in it. And now running the test. And now he's telling me, well, that didn't work because the expected string was a lot of demo app piece. So this is a field test. You see it here. And when a test fails, it's giving you directly the HTML report with the the error in it. So let's go back. I've got another example. Oh, this one. Another example, just navigating some stuff in my Power App, right? And let's run this one. And again, it's going very fast. He's just clicking items and see what it does. And well, I even now can open up the Playwright report. It's not doing it itself because there are no errors found. And again, you see here navigation. Well, this is the before hooks or the before each hook, right? So within this code, there's the login process I earlier showed you. And he's clicking all kinds of buttons. Well, let's see this one. Click Power Apps, go to previous, and that's all kinds of apps elements I'm having in my my test script. So if you go back to highlight here, so get a role by button, click Power Apps. It's all in my HTML report too. Just taking a look at the time. What I want to show you is the area snapshot functionality, because you can do, well, yeah, you can write all kinds of rules to test your app, but you can also use a area snapshot. And this is pretty cool because what he does, it's creating a YAML-like file, right? So a button, a text demo app, a button, and a button. And what I did here is I put it in a code like I want to have a button, text demo app, again a button, and again a button. And that's in my header. So I'm going to show you how you create it. And let's go to the, let's do this one. Well, it's already open. Let's create a new test. And just because I need to log in and things like that, let's go to the Playwright, the dev site. You have an option here, and it's called a search snapshot. If if I click this one and I go with my cursor on the website, I have the header here. And if I click it and go see the area snapshot, it's telling me, well, I expect you to match the area snapshot I've created. And I've got a link logo, I've got an image, I've got the link docs, API, Node.js. Well, it's all like from left to right in this area. Now let's, sorry, I need to go back to my, where is it? Oh, I think it's gone. Still another one. Ah, this one, sorry. No, this one. Yeah, there it is. I see what's going on. Let's play around. So this is not right anymore. It's not API, but more please again. And if I'm playing it right now, it's already saying, hey, there's something wrong with matching the area snapshot. So this is a faster way to have like an area snapshot, some rules to check to match or not to match. So that's a cool functionality. The other thing I want to show you is, time is flying when you're having fun. There's another cool function, and that's UI mode. And let's start the UI mode because maybe it's even, I'm not sure where it's not, so I need to put that away. Yeah, there it is. Let's pick it up. What I did now is open up the UI mode for all my tests I have. So I have the Power Apps test in my left side. The has title, the all kinds of functionalities or tests I've created, and I can directly play it from here. And what you see, what's happening, it's at the top, it's making a recording of your test, running all options, and you can, well, go with your mouse over where you were at that moment, where the test was at that moment. And if you go and do that for the wrong title, you see it fills. And if I'm gonna take a look at the, oh, where it is? The error here, you see again, the expected string was this one, but it's not the right one. So in this case, you have one test case or all your test cases, and you can directly run the test cases here and follow what's happening during the test. So that's another way of using the test, the Playwright tests. But what you eventually will do, I hope, is automate it in your CI/CD environment. And the cool thing with Playwright is you can use it in GitHub Actions, DevOps, Docker, Cloud Bucket, things like that. And this is a YAML file you're getting for free when you're having the installed the Playwright extension, and this can be used one-on-one to integrate it in a GitHub action or things like that. And seeing the time, there's one more thing, because automated testing is cool. You can do a lot with it. I can talk for hours because I even I didn't show you all based on the time, so excuse me. Sorry for that. But don't forget to do proper tests with users, because automating tests will help you in development in all kinds of ways. But don't forget to test with users. And I think we're there.
Oh, thank you so much. So I'm not seeing any question here in the chat box, but it was great session. So it was my favorite session. So I hosted so many sessions, and I think it was, and I'm sure actually this is one of the favorite sessions that I ran here in the Power Platform Learner to the Leader. So I know how we can use, you know, the Power Apps Test Studio and also the monitoring, but I was not familiar actually myself too with the Playwright. So yeah, I learned a lot of things today from you. Thank you, Arjan, and I'm sure that our attendees also learned something new about the test case, how we can automate it, actually the test scenarios in the Power Platform. So one more thing was that the capabilities of the Playwright is the that we can use it for the model-driven app also as
Yeah,
a, you know,
exactly. Yeah,
create
you
the
can.
test case. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And it's
you
cover
can record
both
it.
the canvas and the model-driven app.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also I think we can use this for the Power Pages as well, because the Power Pages is a website, and it's a, you know, it's external website that we are developing in the Power Platform, and we can use the Playwright to create some test case for the Power Pages as well, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, and thank you for your session and joining us today. And yeah, it was a great session, and hope to see you again in the future with another special actually session and great topics.
Thank you very much for having me, Aroj. And
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye.
bye-bye.